The Duke of Sussex was presenting a Soldier of the Year award to Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks, a US combat medic who he described as a friend.
Tonight, I have the distinct honour of presenting this year's Soldier of the Year award. I first met Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks at the Invictus Games in Orlando 2016, where I presented her with not one, but 4 gold medals that she'd won in swimming. To me, she epitomises the courage, resilience, and determination represented across our service community.
Do you know there's another 64 medals on the right of that,
Yeah.
which you didn't see in
So
that
he's
shot.
he's under criticism for wearing his medals that he earned
Well, it was a
whilst
kind of
he was in
yes,
England.
it was a military occasion that he was doing it, so I don't know why he wouldn't wear his medals. Meanwhile, wife Meghan Markle, you might have heard of her, has upped her jam campaign, handing a jar to Kardashian mum Kris Jenner.
Big news. Jam wars continues.
Jam wars going on.
The thing about the medals, yes and no, he earned
Why
them.
are you trying to not talk about the jam, Daisy?
Because he had 4 medals. One of them was for active service in Afghanistan. The other 3 were for being the Queen's grandson.
I wear all my medals.
They were for her jubilees.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Daisy's got a point. But getting back to the jam.
And Daisy's got a medal on as well.
Exactly.
Going back to the jam, and this is a serious point.
Yeah.
Today I called up Buckingham Palace gift shop.
As you do.
Because my American
Have you got them on speed dial?
My American friend, Lala, wanted some of this jam.
Yeah.
So I called up to check whether it's less than 100 mils, and they said, we're completely sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out for the last couple of weeks.
But you can't
get it.
No, the Waitrose jam is still available. Other supermarkets are available too. The Highgrove one I tasted yesterday, and it's strawberry and blackberry. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's absolutely
Sorry, can I just ask,
amazing.
So Buckingham Palace are selling Meghan Markle's jam?
No,
they're selling the King's jam.
The King's jam.
So you know
I didn't even know they sold jam.
So you know the
Jam
King
and
has
plates and stuff.
The King has a range
Plates
of
and stickers.
The King has a range of condiments, including
Rosettes.
jam. He doesn't have rosettes, babes. You've
Must
made
be
it
a
up.
Charles Rosette.
No, you can buy one of Prince William's horses.
Dragon's Den, here I...
Hello, Royal Sussex Squad, and welcome back to your favourite royal commentary space where we serve truth, clarity and a good helping of jam-flavoured justice. Now, remember when Prince Harry was out there honouring a true American hero and Meghan Markle stirred up a frenzy over jam? Yes, jam! The internet nearly exploded, and the British press, woo, they were not okay. But as usual, while Harry and Meghan were being compassionate, inspiring and effortlessly iconic, their critics were working overtime to tear them down. Well, today we're revisiting that moment and unpacking why the haters were so triggered by 2 people simply living their purpose. Let's get into it. Let's take it back. Prince Harry had taken the stage at a military event to present the Soldier of the Year award. The recipient, Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks, a US combat medic and Invictus Games champion. If the name sounds familiar, it should, because Harry first met Elizabeth back in 2016 at the Invictus Games in Orlando, where he handed her 4 gold medals for swimming. 4! Back then, the moment had gone viral, Harry standing beside a true warrior, someone who embodied resilience and healing, and years later there he was again, calling her a friend as he honoured her once more. It was a full-circle moment that reminded everyone why Harry created the Invictus Games in the first place. But of course, cue the pearl clutching. The media didn't focus on his heartfelt words or the legacy of support he'd built for wounded veterans. No, they zoomed in on something else entirely, his medals. That's right, the tabloids had a meltdown because Harry wore medals that he earned. One of them recognised his active service in Afghanistan. The man flew Apache helicopters in war zones, and yet the press tried to act like he was playing dress-up. Can you believe that? Remember when they tried to pretend the other medals, commemorating the Queen's jubilees and his royal duties, somehow didn't count? And let's not forget, the very same people applauding royals who'd never seen combat were suddenly offended by Harry showing up in medals that reflected real sacrifice and real service. The hypocrisy was wild. And while that circus played out, Meghan Markle was out here minding her own business and making a serious impact. Remember when she launched her American Riviera Orchard brand and gifted a jar of jam to none other than Kris Jenner? That single gesture set the internet ablaze. Suddenly, lifestyle blogs, Hollywood influencers, and yes, even the tabloids were talking about Meghan's jam like it was royal gold. Some tried to mock her, calling it a publicity stunt, but that little jar symbolized so much more. It was Meghan once again reclaiming her narrative, on her own terms, building something intentional, organic, and authentically hers. And here's where it got hilarious. While the press was busy sneering at Meghan's jam, people started comparing it to Buckingham Palace's jam. And guess what? The palace jam was completely sold out. Meanwhile, Meghan hadn't even launched her brand publicly yet, and she was already outshining centuries of royal tradition with a few handwritten labels and a simple, beautiful product. It was like a quiet mic drop. No interviews, no press tour, just one gift to Kris Jenner, and the ripple effect was global. And yet again, the double standards were crystal clear. King Charles had long been selling his own range of condiments, from marmalades to sauces and even biscuits. Nobody questioned his dignity. But Meghan shares a jar of jam and suddenly the world ends? Please. All of this proved what we've always known. Harry and Meghan didn't need a palace to be powerful. They didn't need crowns or courtiers to be relevant. They had purpose, heart, and global reach. And that terrified the old guard. Every step they took away from the royal institution revealed how archaic and image-obsessed it really was, and every authentic move they made, from honouring heroes to launching wellness brands, just made that contrast even clearer. So, Royal Sussex Squad, remember when Harry stood tall beside a true soldier, reminding the world what real leadership looked like? And Meghan? She brought grace, style and, yes, jam to a world desperate for authenticity. The press tried to twist it, critics tried to downplay it, but the impact, unmistakable. That moment wasn't just about medals or marmalade, it was about independence. It was about reclaiming dignity. It was about two people who stepped away from a centuries-old system and dared to build something better and succeeded. Remember how Prince Harry walked away from the only life he had ever known to stand for something greater than pomp and pageantry? That Soldier Award moment was a reflection of his deep commitment to a cause. He wasn't playing royalty, he was serving veterans as one of them. When Harry looked at Sergeant Elizabeth Marks, you could see the mutual respect between two warriors. That's the kind of leadership that doesn't need a throne. And while the monarchy clings to empty rituals, Harry found purpose, real purpose, the kind that doesn't fit into a photo op. The press tried to ignore that, but we remembered because purpose outlives headlines, and Harry's purpose is legacy, not legacy headlines. Now Meghan, her influence has always scared the establishment, hasn't it? Not because she's loud, but because she's effective. They mocked her jam, but couldn't stop talking about it. They called her cringe, but the product moved markets. This wasn't about jam. This was about a woman they couldn't control stepping into her power. Meghan's brand was never just about a spread on toast. It was a quiet revolution in a mason jar. No words, no speeches, just action. And in that silence, Meghan reminded us, you don't have to shout to shake the system. You just have to show up authentically. And that's exactly what she did. If you remember that moment and it made you proud, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This community is about support, truth, and raising up those who deserve better than what the media gives them. And if you'd like to help us keep this channel strong, feel free to tap that super thanks down below. Every bit helps, and every bit is appreciated. Until next time, stay bold like Harry and sweet like Meghan's jam. Sharon signing off. Much love, squad.